Welcome to Liverpool fans. Today we've got the latest updates of your beloved club Liverpool. But before we dive in, make sure to subscribe so you never miss a moment of breaking news. Let's get started. The pressure surrounding Arne Slot has reached a critical point as Liverpool prepare for what is being widely described as a decisive night against Marseille. Inside Anfield and beyond, there is a growing sense that this fixture represents far more than a European group stage contest. For Slot, it has become a referendum on his future. Senior figures within the club are understood to have concluded that failure to secure victory would leave them with little option but to act, bringing a sudden and brutal end to a tenure that has unravelled far quicker than anyone anticipated. Slot arrived at Liverpool carrying both optimism and expectation. Tasked with succeeding an era-defining manager, he was entrusted with maintaining the club's identity while evolving its football. Early signs suggested promise, but consistency never followed. Performances fluctuated wildly, results failed to match the quality of the squad, and confidence slowly drained from both players and supporters. The defeat to domestic rivals last weekend intensified scrutiny, exposing tactical uncertainty and a lack of authority at key moments. Marseille now stand as the final test of belief in Slot's project. Behind the scenes, the atmosphere is tense. Board members are said to have held multiple meetings in recent days, analysing not just results, but body language, dressing room harmony, and the overall direction of the team. There is concern that players no longer fully understand their roles, that the pressing structure lacks coordination, and that in-game adjustments arrive too late to change outcomes. These are not viewed as isolated issues, but symptoms of a deeper problem that can no longer be ignored if the club's ambitions are to be protected. For Slot himself, the stakes could not be higher. He has reportedly addressed the squad with brutal honesty, acknowledging the criticism while demanding a response defined by intensity, clarity, and courage. Sources close to the dressing room suggest the players are acutely aware of the consequences, not only for their manager, but for the season as a whole. A defeat would leave Liverpool staring at the possibility of European embarrassment and domestic instability, a scenario the hierarchy is determined to avoid. Marseille, meanwhile, arrive with confidence and momentum. They sense vulnerability and will not hesitate to exploit it. Their physicality, pace, and directness pose exactly the kind of challenge Liverpool have struggled with under Slot. Any hesitation, any tactical miscalculation could prove fatal. For Liverpool, this is not a night for patience or long-term thinking. It is about immediate authority, control, and result. If Liverpool fail to win, the response is expected to be swift. Preparations have already been quietly put in place for a possible managerial change, with contingency plans discussed at executive level. While no official decision has been announced, the message internally is stark. This match is the line. Crossing it without victory will almost certainly trigger Slot's dismissal, regardless of mitigating factors or future promises. Such an outcome would underline the ruthless reality of elite football. Slot may argue that rebuilding takes time, that injuries and transition have played their part, but Liverpool's standards leave little room for explanation when momentum is lost. This club measures progress in trophies, control, and belief, not intentions. The fear among decision-makers is that delaying action could allow standards to slip further, turning a difficult period into a damaging season. As kick-off approaches, Anfield holds its breath. The supporters will demand a performance that reflects the badge, the history, and the urgency of the moment. For Arne Slot, it is the most important 90 minutes of his managerial career. Win, and he earns a fragile reprieve and a chance to reset the narrative. Fail, and his time at Liverpool is likely to end abruptly, remembered as a bold appointment that never found its footing. In football, destiny often hinges on a single night, and for Slot, that night has arrived. Liverpool supporters have been forced to confront an uncomfortable reality as the long-running pursuit of Marc Guéhi has finally ended, with the defender completing his move to Manchester City. For months, many fans held on to the belief that Liverpool would eventually return with a decisive bid, but that hope has now been extinguished. Guéhi's medical in Manchester symbolised more than just a lost transfer target. It highlighted deeper structural and strategic issues that continue to shape Liverpool's recruitment under Fenway Sports Group. Guehi was admired at Anfield for clear reasons. He is Premier League proven, tactically intelligent, strong in duels, and entering the prime years of his career. Liverpool's interest dates back to last summer, when Crystal Palace blocked a late move, knowing they held leverage. That moment was decisive. Palace set a valuation that Liverpool were unwilling to meet, and instead of acting with force, the club chose patience. Manchester City did not. When the opportunity reopened, City moved quickly, agreeing terms, completing the medical, and closing the deal with ruthless efficiency. Liverpool's failure to land Guehi cannot be reduced to bad luck. It reflects a consistent pattern in how the club operates in the market. Liverpool identify targets early, assess value rigidly, and refuse to deviate from internal valuations. This approach has delivered success in the past, but it also carries risk, especially when competition comes from clubs with greater financial flexibility. In Guehi's case, Liverpool believed alternatives existed at lower cost or with higher long-term upside, while City saw immediate reliability and squad readiness. The situation is further complicated by Ibrahima Konaté's contract standoff. With only months remaining on his deal, Liverpool are facing the real prospect of losing another key centre-back for nothing. Konaté's wage demands, reportedly among the highest for defenders in the league, have stalled negotiations. Liverpool's reluctance to meet those terms mirrors the stance taken in other contract disputes, where financial discipline outweighs short-term squad stability. While principled, this strategy leaves gaps that must be filled elsewhere. That context explains why Liverpool are now being linked with Mickey van de Ven. Younger, faster, and under long-term contract at Tottenham, he fits Liverpool's preferred profile, but he also comes with a significant price tag. The irony is clear. Liverpool passed on Guehi due to cost concerns, only to now consider a defender whose valuation sits even higher. The difference lies in age, resale potential, and tactical suitability, yet the optics remain difficult for fans to accept. Guehi's own words after joining City were telling. He spoke of reaching the best club in England and joining an unbelievable squad. That statement underlines another uncomfortable truth for Liverpool supporters. At this moment, City offer certainty, trophies, and immediate competitiveness. Liverpool, by contrast, are in transition, balancing ambition with sustainability, and sometimes losing elite targets as a result. This does not mean Liverpool's strategy is broken, but it does mean it is unforgiving. When every deal must align perfectly with valuation models, timing becomes critical. Miss the window, and rivals step in. Guehi was not lost in January. He was lost in September, when Palace refused to sell and Liverpool chose not to escalate. From that point, the outcome was always leaning away from Anfield. For fans, the frustration lies not only in losing Guehi, but in the pattern repeating itself. Strong interest, prolonged talks, disciplined restraint, and ultimately disappointment when another club acts decisively.